talk about the flip side of dissatisfaction is commitment. And here's why. Our dissatisfaction tells us where we want to change. Anywhere that you're unhappy with something. I have a coaching client who is not happy with his marriage. I have another client who is frustrated with work processes in 10 different places, frustrated about things that aren't done effectively enough, or aren't done fast enough, or aren't done well, or aren't done in the service of the client in the way that he would like. I have another client who is dissatisfied with his job because though he's good at it and it pays well, he doesn't feel like he's really living up to his full potential. These are all places where our dissatisfaction tells us where we want to change. And here's why that matters, because I know on the surface that statement sounds a little obvious. And I'll tell you what the challenge is that I run into regularly in coaching people, which is something we discussed in the second online course, which is a concentric ring of emotions. So our emotions are available to us in a radius from the center. On the inner circle, closest into us, are all of the easiest emotions, like fine, okay, and blah. That's a very small radius of emotion. And this is where people tend to be most comfortable living, in fine, okay, and blah, because then we don't have to really risk feeling anything too much. If we don't risk feeling love, we don't risk feeling heartbreak. If we don't risk feeling elated, we don't risk feeling angry. And a lot of us, for that reason, like to live right in that inner circle with that small radius of emotion that is fine, okay, and blah. Because then we don't really have to risk feeling anything terribly unpleasant. And notice that we also don't want to risk feeling anything really great, because then that could lead to feeling something unpleasant. So most of us stay right there with fine, okay, and blah. The problem is I can't coach from there, because you are not coachable from that place, because it's really hard for us to figure out what you want when you are stuck in fine, okay, and blah. What guides us in coaching, what guides us in our conversations, is what will have you feel like you're living a life you want. And most people don't really want to be living fine, okay, and blah. So if that's our guidepost, imagine searching through the woods with a really dim flashlight. That's exactly what this is like. It's really hard to figure out where we're going, because your beacon is how you feel about any given thing that we discuss. And if you don't want to be feeling anything, if you want to be restricted to fine, okay, and blah, it's really hard to figure out where to go. So the middle ring of emotion, if we expand a little bit out from there, is content or mildly displeased. So we're starting to get a little bit of information, like it usually sounds like, yeah, that might be okay. Yeah, that sounds interesting. Or, I don't know, I didn't really like that. So at least we're getting something. We're getting a little bit of information. But we're still got a dim flashlight. And we're looking for a pebble in the ground. So the best way to figure out what really matters to us and where we want to go, the way to have a brighter flashlight, the way to make it really clear, is to actually expand our radius of emotion to that outer ring. That includes things like elated and excited. It also includes irritated and angry and frustrated. The reason that we get irritated, angry, and frustrated is because we have located something that we care about. We have moved ourselves to that outer edge, that outer ring of emotion that is an expanded radius from the center. And what we know is that if something is irritating us or making us angry or frustrated, it's because we are actually committed to having it be different. And that's why this is important. Though it sounds obvious to start with, there are so many people that don't know, that don't go there, that don't have that kind of response because they don't want to live that broader range of emotion. And so here's the great information. Whatever it is that you are frustrated with, if you are frustrated with something at work that you don't think is working well, if you are frustrated because you think that your company is not serving your clients well, what you know about that is that you are committed to serving your clients. What you know is that if you're frustrated that you think a process at work isn't happening efficiently enough, that you are committed to having efficient work processes. And what you know is that if you are frustrated and unhappy with your marriage, you are committed to having a good marriage. Has that occurred to you? Because if you weren't committed to having a good marriage, you would just stay with fine, okay, and blah. You'd just be in a blah marriage. You'd be fine with it. The fact that you're not fine, means that you're actually committed to having it be better. So notice, first of all, that your dissatisfaction with any of the things I just named takes some courage. Because otherwise we could just retract back into, I don't care about any of it. F it. I'm just going to be fine, okay, and blah. It'd be easy to retract back into that. And the fact that you are living with frustration means that you are living with an expanded radius of emotion. You are not living in that inner circle. You're living in the middle one or the outer ring, which takes some courage to live there. And it takes commitment. The flip side is commitment, knowing that you want something better and that you think there should be something better. It is great information. So I want to encourage you to appreciate the frustration. I want to encourage you to appreciate your anger or your resentment or your dissatisfaction or your irritation, and identify what's causing it, because whatever's causing it is what you're actually committed to. And reframe it, rephrase it as what you're committed to, because all of the people around you in your marriage or at work will respond to that. We appreciate people that are committed to having things be better. We appreciate knowing who someone is. We appreciate knowing about the person standing in front of us talking to us. So if you reframe it from, I can't stand it that we don't serve our clients better, to, I'm really committed to serving our clients well. Holy cow, who doesn't want to hear that? That's a fantastic statement. Lead with that, with your conversations. Take whatever's frustrating you and irritating you about yourself, about your team, about your coworkers, about your company, and flip it around and state it as what you're committed to. And start the conversation from there and watch how people respond. And here's what I want you to think about. This is really important. Take this same thing and apply it to your teammates. Apply it to anyone you're on a call with. Apply it to your clients who are constantly frustrated and hard to deal with. Notice all of the people around you who are frustrated or dissatisfied are willing to be frustrated or dissatisfied. Stop the action in the middle of a meeting if you're able, if it's appropriate, if you're in a position to do so. Stop everybody and say, everyone name in 1 or 2 sentences what you're committed to right now, and watch what happens. Everybody suddenly gets to appreciate and recognize what everyone is really after on that call. They get to see the people who are on that call for what matters to them. Sit there as you're listening to people being frustrated with each other, and literally, I don't mean this in some sort of metaphorical way. I mean literally bask in the glow of how much people care. Get it that if everyone on the call is frustrated, it's because everyone on the call is committed to something. Find out what they are committed to and see them for that. See them for what matters to them. See them for what they're committed to. Listen to that. And notice what happens. Notice how the call turns around. Notice how the team turns around. And notice how much people start appreciating each other. Have a great week. If you're ready to become a warrior at work so that you get to fully live, I'm inviting you to join our Warriors at Work program, where you'll identify your warrior self, find your warrior purpose, develop your warrior squad, and start living as a warrior leader. Using the E9 corporate coaching model that I developed after years of coaching and managing people. It's risk-free. If you fully engage and do the work and don't feel like it's working for you, I'll give you your money back. You can just join the first course or the whole series of 7 courses. Go to warriorsatwork.com to sign up. I'll see you there.